stirring my coffee with chopsticks. And why do I do that? Number one, it doesn't make a lot of noise. Number two, I'm using the vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your coffee on a molecular level. We'll get started, but first, coffee. Beautiful. Today is the Guatemalan. Hot. Just poured it. Did not sit around too long. Well, welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. And we are going to talk about a few things today before we get started on Twitter. I was thinking about politics. Did you ever vote for somebody and they get into office and then they do nothing? And you wonder, what the heck? I'm talking on a national level. Congress, Senate. And what's irritating is you say, don't just sit there, do something. And I don't care who your candidate is or what side they're on, which sucks if you think about it. That in the United States, we have two sides that are recognized. And third sides, like myself, aren't recognized. Interesting. But we're the ones talking. We're the ones who have the, I don't even want to call it like an underground communication, but you don't trust politicians. You do not trust politicians. Trust people in business. Don't trust politicians. Did you ever notice, like for instance, this chick that was just voted in Congress, this Ocasio-Cortez, broke as fuck, okay? Just all YouTube-y and selfie-ish and all this kind of stuff. She will be a multi-millionaire within 2 to 4 years. A multi-millionaire. Think about it. Politics is a very, very, very lucrative profession. She's broke as fuck, can't pay her rent, but she will be a Why is that? How can somebody take office and come back a multi-millionaire? Interesting, right? The other thing is this. People, I am firmly convinced of the fact when it comes to politics, one of the reasons why people comply, politicians comply and jump on bandwagons, is that people have shit on them. How does that happen? Sexual stuff, criminal stuff, anything that would cause major embarrassment or breakup of a family or so forth. They have that kind of shit on people. And that causes them to comply and vote a certain way when there's a hearing. That causes them to say certain things. I am convinced that in Washington, D.C., there is another power that be that has shit on everybody. And what you're seeing in the news is propped up news. There's something else going on. If you sit there and get your information about what's going on in this country from any news station, you're being misled. It's the Truman Show. Did you ever feel like the news is a production? There's nothing investigative going on. There's a lot of demonizing going on. It's a production, a finely tuned production. It's no different than a Broadway play. When your eyes start getting open to that, you're going to view the news completely different and get your news from different sources other than Fox, CNN, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, CBS, CNBC. You will never, ever be able to watch them ever again. There's a few people that I like, but they put them on so late that nobody watches them, where there's no critical mass. That's my political rant for the day. Well, good morning. How are you? Let's talk about some things. The only person in ZZ Top without a beard is the drummer. His name? Frank Beard. Can't make that up. A man's test of loyalty is presented... I'm sorry, let me restart that. A woman's test of loyalty is presented when her man is unsuccessful. A man's test of loyalty is when he is successful. A woman's test of loyalty is presented when her man is unsuccessful. When you are down, when you lost your job, when you're not feeling well, if your health goes, that's when a woman's test of loyalty is presented. A man's test of loyalty? This is how a man is tested when he becomes very successful. Does he stay with his woman? Or does he move on? I grew up with a father that said, when I was a kid, I remember as a teenager, he would say, when they turned 40, you trade them in for two 20s. That never resonated with me. I know it does with a lot of guys. I happen to like women my age, or in my age range, my age, you know. I like a mature woman. I don't have this drive to go younger. Just, you kind of like what you like, right or wrong. Even as the stable stoic, which I am, my conversations with all the content creators and authors moved me to the point of having to take a few deep breaths after they left the studio. If you've seen my conversations and interviews with some great authors and content creators who have become friends. And I call this the grounding power of focused breathing. There's a lesson in there. Can you imagine interviewing somebody on camera, like I have? I'll put a link to my interview with Ivan Throne down below so you can see that interview. I want you to see the interview. Powerful. But it moved me here. Can you imagine being moved on camera to the point where you might want to shed a tear? Or you feel emotions kind of coming up, but you gotta remain stable, stoic, controlling the situation. During an interview on camera, that's what is necessary. And I interviewed about 30 people for the latest round of interviews. Many of them so moving. And I would shake their hand, because I would see them later on at dinner time or whenever we socialize after. But my job is to bring the best out of people when I interview them. I've never been a gotcha journalist or one of these kind of people that tries to trap people in anything. I leave that up to other people. I'm not interested in that. I want to bring the best out of people. But they would leave the studio. I would just like take off my glasses and just go. And I would just go over to my corner, take a sip of water from a bottle of water, and I would just breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth, literally. I would do the 4-5-8 breathing. I'll tell you what 4-5-8 is. I'm sorry, 4-7-8. Where you breathe in for 4 seconds, fill your lungs up, you hold it for 7 seconds, then exhale for 8 seconds, 4-7-8. I would literally do that once or twice. You do the 4-7-8 breathing and it's like you had a martini. It calms you right down. So I would have to get centered and focused, because in another 20 to 30 minutes, there would be someone else sitting at the interview desk. And I'd have to be fresh and ready, like they are the first interview of the day. Every person deserved that who came in. And it was just one interview after another all day long. So I would do the 4-7-8, which was breathe in through your nose, fill up your lungs in 4 seconds. Hold it for 7 seconds. Don't let it out all at once. Let it out over 8 seconds. It's like taking a Valium. You do that 4 or 5 times. It's amazing what it does for you. So that's what I would have to do with some of the profound things that people were saying. Because I don't want to say I'm a sensitive person. I've had to turn some of that off. Because if I go to a movie that has a sad scene in it, I just sit there and I'll cry. And I wait till everyone leaves the theater. While I'm wiping the tears, I just sit there like looking at the screen. And then the theater empties out, because I don't feel like walking out of a theater with like a wet face. That was another thing. I used to, if I went on a date with a gal to a movie that was moving to me, at the end of the movie, she'd look over at me. I remember one gal looked over and said, she goes, "Oh my God, are you crying?" I'm like, I'm just a little moved right now. I know some guys are going to be like, "You big fucking pussy, you." I like going to movies and being in the hands of the movie director. I do. I want that director to put me on a roller coaster and take me for a ride. So I want to experience the highs. I want to experience the lows when I go to a movie. Experience the lows. Hey, notice the lows hat? All right. 5 a.m. humor here. 5 a.m. Ivan Throne says the hardest thing in life is regret. People's faces change when they talk about 2 things: their goals and their regrets. They light up when they talk about their goals. They get sullen, and their just face drops when they talk about their regrets. I'll never forget, I guess it was it Anthony Robbins that talked about, and I'm sure he wasn't the first one. It's an old illustration. What he calls the rocking chair test. Picture yourself at 85 or 90 years old sitting on your front porch in a rocking chair, thinking about your life, looking back on your life. He said, and the things that you end up regretting the most are the things that you didn't do, not the things that you did. The things that you didn't do. When you talk to people about their past, much of their words are going to be, I should have done this. I should have done that. I should have married this woman. I should have invested in that. I should have stayed at this job. I should have quit that job earlier. The heart, like Ivan said, the hardest thing in life is regrets. Somebody had tweeted about bitter red pill guys. I don't know any bitter red. If the red pill leads you to bitterness, it's not the red pill. The red pill makes you happy. It opens your eyes up. It's like if I say to you, if I could give you a pair of glasses that will make you see the world in a different way, would you be interested? A way that would be easier to navigate. A way that will make you happier. If I could give you a set of glasses to put on, wouldn't you want them? That's what the red pill lens is all about. You put it on, you see the world as it is, not as how you think it should be. What a relief. So if you're bitter with these on, then you really don't have these on. Let's get real. So someone was talking about bitter red pill guys. No such thing as a bitter red pill guy. There's bitter guys and there's bitter gals. But I never let a few idiots determine what I think of a whole demographic of people. The red pill lens is merely seeing the world as it is, not what you think it should be. The competition is very fierce in the pipe tobacco, and the cigar world. You never prevail by competing. Never. Never. You have to have a domination mindset. Dominate, don't compete. When you compete, you know what you're doing? This is for anyone in life. When you compete, and this is consistent with the building an empire theme. Man, that coffee's good. Dominate, don't compete. When you compete, you know what you're doing? You're always looking over your shoulder to see who's creeping up on you because you don't want to lose your ranking. You have to be in it to win it. There can't even be a close second. So what you need to do is create unfair advantages. And how do you do that? You do it through social media. A constant barrage of social media. Those who get turned off will get turned off, and that's fine. But you are bombarded with thousands of messages every day. If you're in business and you have a product or a service, you need to bombard your potential market with your message and dominate your market. It's called the strategy of preeminence. My mentor, Jay Abraham, verbalized that the first time I ever heard it. I was just blown away. When somebody cancels on you suddenly, that only means one thing. They got a better offer. Half of the rips and tears in today's fashionable jeans come from trying to put on the fashionable jeans with rips and tears. I can't wait for December 1st when millennials start jerking off again. They've been nothing but trouble for the past month. Get yourself a subscription to some hand lotion, will you? And knock it off. Preacher man talking on the TV. He was putting down the rock and roll. He wants me to send a donation because he's worried about my soul. He said, Jesus walked on the water, and I know that's true, but sometimes I think that preacher man would like to do a little walking too. Charlie Daniels, 1974. You don't have to agree with your parents, but you do have to honor them if you want to live long and have go things well. Duluth Trading Company jeans. It's about time somebody considered the boys. Super handsome and dapper guys on Instagram are no different than the Insta thoughts and the little Insta sluts that you see all over Instagram seeking attention and validation. My response to that is, average men, arise. And that's the Twitter for the day. I have to go get my license done. Let me tell you something. I have in Pennsylvania, we have this thing called a camera card. I don't know if you have it in the state where you live, where you get your driver's license done. And for the most part, your driver's license can be used as an ID for many things. When you fly, when you cash checks and so forth. So every 4 years, you get a new driver's license and you get a new picture taken. So what I'm going to do today is I will groom myself up. I will put on a shirt and tie and I will go to the driver's license center, because I've always liked having a nice driver's license picture. I've always liked that. And that's important, that you take a good picture for your passport or for your driver's license, because that will stick with you for 4 years. Passports for 10 years. When I look at my passport photo now, gosh, I was probably 50 pounds heavier, and it just expired. 10 years ago, my hair was dark, my beard was dark, I had like a black goatee, completely different human being. You would look, if you saw it, you wouldn't even recognize me. I probably changed in my looks more from 50 to 60 than from any other time. The change started in my mid-40s, really started. And then, I guess after, when the hair started turning gray, within a year, no more than a year and a half, everything just, my beard turned white. It wasn't gradual. It was almost as if, I mean, there were people that came up to me and said, "Is that fake?" I'm dead serious. People thought my beard was fake. They'd come up and touch it and they go, "Oh my God, your beard really is white, isn't it?" I know, yeah, it is. They thought like I sprayed something on it. My hair turned white. I don't know how. It just happened. I don't know if it was stresses from life or what it was. But the toughest years of my life were, I would say, my mid-40s. You're an adult, you're accomplished, and then the bottom drops out in many ways. And they were some tough years, man. And it led me to being stuck. Tough led to stuck. And then I had to pull myself up by my bootstraps and become successful all over again. So this is round number 2 for me. And I'm conducting myself much different and coaching people to do the same. Well, that's it for the Daybreak Show. Visit the sponsors down below. And I will be coming into Phoenix. I'm not sure in December or January. And if you live in Phoenix or within driving distance, reasonable driving distance of Phoenix, we're going to meet. We're going to do some coaching, and I'll give you the details in weeks upcoming. And then the final session of the day could be a group session. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out yet. But I'm doing a tour of different cities. Going to be going to Washington, D.C. pretty soon. Going to Poland next July. I'm excited about that. So you have a great day today. What is on your to-do list? 2018 is over. 2019 is the year that you get unstuck. 2020 is the year that you make your first million. Do you believe that? Do you laugh at that when I tell you that? If you laugh or doubt or do that, then you don't believe in yourself. Then you don't believe you can. And it takes more than just saying, yes, I can. Because if all you think is, I need to psych myself up, then no, you can't. It takes more than that. It takes massive action on a regular basis. Be like the waves that just pound on the beach, day in, day out. And you'll reach where you want to be, where you're going to be healthy, strong, have good relationships, be a person of virtue, consistency, reliability. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Oh, look for an interview with my friend Terry Cox, who is featured in Jack Canfield's new book. I'm doing an interview with her later today, and I'll be airing that probably sometime tomorrow, I would imagine. And then I'm going to put a link to my interview conversation with Ivan Throne down below that I really think you're going to enjoy. Please watch that. And then give me some feedback on what you think about it. Go get it, man. Get it. It's out there for you.